Welcome back to today's podcast. This is where therapists deserve abundance. And so we have a special guest on today's episode. Her name is Laurie Ford. She is a licensed therapist, and she is also the CEO of Laurie Ford Counseling and Consulting online therapy private practice. Laurie's mission is to guide women ready to acknowledge, nurture, and heal their inner child issues. She dedicated over 11 years of experience helping individuals and families bridge the gap between healing and overcoming generational barriers. Laurie is a proud generational curse breaker. Aside from being a mental health provider, she is also a wife, a mother, ministry leader, author, and a coach. Laurie's expertise extends to helping individuals connect with their next level self. So welcome, Laurie, to the show. Let's dive into this epic episode. Welcome back, everyone, to the Branding for Abundance podcast, where therapists deserve abundance. And so in today's episode, I have an epic guest. She is actually appearing on the podcast for the second time. And I am so happy to introduce one of my mastermind students and DTA coaches, Laurie Ford. And so welcome, Laurie, back to the podcast.
Hey, guys. Hello. How are you out there today?
Yes. So I know that we did a brief intro, or I did a brief intro before the podcast started, but can you let them know a little bit about yourself, where are you located, your license type, and what are you currently doing in your mental health business?
All right. So I'm Laurie Ford. I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor in the state of North Carolina, currently residing in Charlotte and serving the entire state of North Carolina. I have an all virtual mental health private practice where I serve women who are ready to acknowledge, heal, and nurture the little girl inside of them so they would not show up in their workplace or in their relationships. They'll show up in a healing lens. So that's a little bit about me.
Yes, come on now. I was to say elevator pitch. And what you do. Okay, that is awesome. So if the listeners or viewers on YouTube have not had the opportunity to review her first podcast, I'll make sure to put that in the show notes. But I just want to jump into it because the first time we had you on here, we were talking about growing your private practice, and you had already started to learn about scaling your business. You were already an author, I think at that time, of 2 books, or maybe coming out with a third. I think it was coming out with a third. And so I really want to spend time helping therapists see the journey from growth to scale that led to abundance. And so can you go back to what was it like before you and I met? Describe what was your career? What was it filled with before engaging in coaching services?
So before I was a associate, which meaning pre-licensed. So I was still doing my hours, but I was working for a company. And I already knew that one of my goals was to open my private practice. But I would say before working with Dr. TK, like I put every single letter in fear. Although it may not look like, it looked like I was walking in purpose and excited, but just the thought of doing private practice, I was scared. Like my mindset was like, hey, I'm worthy today, tomorrow I'm not. It was very inconsistent. My mindset was very inconsistent with before even opening my private practice.
Mm-hmm. What made you want to open up a private practice?
So when I started as a school counselor, that was my goal right there. I knew that school counseling just wasn't it. In the school system, not sure if y'all know, it's a lot of paperwork, a lot of administrative work. And I knew that my calling on my life was to help people heal in a different way, more one-on-one setting. And so I could not do that. And I knew my calling wasn't specifically to children. That was seasonal for me. I knew that my calling and my gifts and talents were for women due to my own personal story and my professional story. So private practice, I was limited when I was working for an agency. I was limited with my gifts and talents, what I could say, the clientele. And so I did not want to put shackles on myself or limit myself to my niche clients. I could not serve my niche clients under an agency. So private practice was the only way for me. And the pandemic opened up that for me because guess what? I'm at home, all virtual, and I did not have to worry about a big overhead. So I was like, okay, God, this is a big sign. Like, I got to go.
Yes, divine timing. And I just want to pull out, you said some very important things. One, you were living in fear, which is false
Mhm.
evidence appearing real,
Hello.
right? We create a narrative on our own and have nothing to support it, but then we
Mhm.
tell our clients to get out of fear all the time.
Exactly.
The second thing that you said was really important, which is part of my mission as well, and to make sure that therapists shine in this area, which is to walk in alignment with your gift. And a lot of times we stay in a state, meaning to be business owners, stay in a state of complacency
Yes.
because of the norm or what we're told and
Mhm.
taught from our caregivers or a lack thereof, but pretty much a lack of knowledge, which is ignorance, you know. And we stay in our place until something or someone shows up that can show us, what else is possible. So I really wanted to highlight that because a lot of therapists that I've, chatted with online and things like that, a lot of them will get all the information and say, this program is the right fit for me, or I love your energy, but I can't leave my job right now. And the rationale that they give is not coming from passion.
Mhm.
It's just coming from counting how much their health insurance is. And I'm like, we can make that up. you
Exactly.
know?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, so let's go a little bit deeper into the story. So after you realize like this lifestyle was not for me, at what point did you recognize that, or did you recognize that you needed help to build this business? Like, how did that come about?
So I knew I was an awesome counselor, but I knew like I didn't know any business owners. I didn't have any connections with any business owner in my family or anything. So I said, in order to get to where I want to go, I got to connect with someone who is 10 steps ahead of me. And I had to put my feelings aside, my pride aside, whatever rooted self-sabotaging thoughts that was coming up. I had to really die to myself and say, girl, wake up. Like, you got to connect yourself with other people. And so I seen you so much on Instagram, but I didn't really connect because I didn't really have time in the agency. And I prayed about it. And like, soon as I prayed, I said, amen. I promise y'all I got on Instagram. And Dr. TK was talking to me. She did a live and she was talking to me. So I was excited. But then she talked about that investment. And I was like, I don't know. We always talk a good game until it's time to put a seed on it. And then we want to shrink back. And so I remember I said, you know what? I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe this is by happenstance. And I said, God, you've been taking care of me all my life and you're going to continue. So I seen what the investment was. And I said, well, in order for me to get something more than this and the return on my investment, I got to invest. If I want to invest in someone who's very knowledgeable, who's been doing this successfully, she didn't just wake up and say, hey, y'all, come on. So I said, okay, I have to put a seed where my mouth is. And guess what I did, y'all? I did it afraid. So I'm not even gonna lie and act like it was like, oh, peaches and cream. I did it afraid. And the thing is, it's gonna be time you're gonna be crying as you put in that card number, but you just gotta do it.
It's funny when you say that because in our current cohort during open enrollment, one of the students went in there and she did like a meme with a gift, and she was like, I was scared y'all putting in the credit card number, but I'm here. And I was like,
Exactly.
that is so big because,
Mhm.
and speak about this too, because I talk about it a lot on my podcast, the importance of investment. But I think that some people see the journey, but specifically look at the outcome. And when I talk about just more being knowledgeable in the levels of coaching
Yeah.
services and how the
Mhm.
investment may increase as much as you want to increase, or even
Mhm.
just access to people to shortcut the information, some people don't see that what I share is like, I ain't even gonna say it's at the top. Hell, it's in the middle,
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
DTA compared to a lot of programs is actually very, I'm gonna say the word affordable when we look at college tuition
Yes,
in grad
exactly.
school,
Mhm.
you know? And
Mhm.
so can you speak to how important it is for a business owner or to be business owner looks at the word investment?
Mhm. Yes, I was about to say, I think we got to shift our mindset from like, it's too high or expensive. It's an investment in me as a business owner, me as a therapist, me as a wife, me as a mother. It is an investment, and nothing is too big to invest in you. Because guess what? You have a legacy attached to your investment. So I had to get that mindset and say, hey, I got all these things on my goal list. I've been praying about this, but you don't want to invest. And it's what you put in. You can invest all you want to, but it's still the work that you put into it. And stop having the spirit of rush. It takes time and sacrifice to see the return on your investment. Dr. TK gonna give you everything and more, but she can't hold your hand. And so when I think of investment, it's not just money, it's investing in your mindset. It's investing in, hey, I can't talk to these friends every day that I used to talk to. I got to get in this portal. I got to do this work. I got to sacrifice time management. So when I think of investment, and for me, I had never invested in anything other than college, you know, or working out or a trainer ever in my life. And so I had to say, okay, well, I'm doing something different, but I know it's going to yield different results. And sometimes we feel uncomfortable. It's not the same, but that's when you know it's a clue to say, oh, I got to get out my comfort zone and go ahead and do this. So we cannot look at our investment, y'all, as expenses. It's an investment in you for years, for your entire life.
I want to underline the word expenses because I talk about that a lot when I do like boot camps or virtual parties and webinars, is that, you know, it's about the reframe of how we think about the money. We're always looking at the money going out. We're really not looking at the end result of money coming back in, or the energy or the knowledge coming back in, so that you can have increase on multiple levels, including having more time. When you put in time in the beginning, you will get the time back exponentially. But we're only looking at part A, not part B. And I just find that interesting, considering the field we're in, because we enter into a therapy session with the client having the end goal in mind, that they're going to successfully complete treatment. They're going to do all their treatment plan, homework activities, and we hold them accountable. But we don't want to hold ourselves accountable. Like, this is a hypocrite.
Yeah. We are our biggest accountability. And it just reminds me of, if you would have told me this would be my life in 2019, I wouldn't believe you. Like, I've been a business owner for a year, a little over a year now, and it's a total different mindset shift. I mean, I remember charging $25 for a author's boot camp, teaching authors how to write, publish, shifting their mindset at $25 in 2020. And it's 2021, and now it's $1,000 program. And I can say that confidently because you can see the shift in the mindset of my worth. And then guess what? Once I invested in Dr. TK's program, she showed me how to scale. She helped me grow. And guess what? I had more time to work in my business, but also let my business work for me.
Yes. So speak to the gap, because we have probably some therapists that are from BTA or interested in BTA. And then what I have found is that, you know, as soon as I post anything about streams of income, because money is a trigger word, everybody wants to hop on that train. But one thing I always reference is, I wouldn't be, because they look at how much when I do an income report or something, or a quantum leap, I will always say the one thing that got me here is being successful in my lowest hanging fruit, which is my private practice. Because if I don't know my ideal client, if you don't know who you are passionate about working with, how can you build something like an author's boot camp? How can you write 3 books if you don't know who's the person that's supposed to purchase the book? You know? And so can you speak to when you got into DTA? Well, let me back up. Can you speak to first the fact that you got into DTA at the beginning of this great new era, which we didn't know nothing was going on? And just to let everybody know, she joined what's called an accelerated program. So before she joined, we had one cohort before that, and her cohort was supposed to be 8 weeks. We no longer do the 8-week format because therapists need practices like right now. But what was it like to get into a program and then find out, like, you want me to meet on Saturdays for 2 hours and you want me to cut it in half? What was that like?
Woo! It was, like I said, it goes back to sacrifice. I'm gonna learn all of this. My first time ever investing, and I just had to put on my big girl boots and say, you know what, you can do this. You do everything else you want to do. You are consistent with everything else. If your homegirl said meet you every Saturday at Starbucks, you're gonna show up. So you can show up for you, and that's what I had to shift. I said, girl, you show up for your clients. You show up for your family. This is showing up for you. So I was willing and ready. Like, I'm doing the homework before time. I'm like I am in there ready, but it has to be a shift. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Even if you feel you're not ready, show up. Because whatever Dr. TK or the other ladies and gentlemen may have to say in there, what might trigger something for you to be like, you know what, I am ready. So even if you feel like, okay, I invested, but I don't know if I'm ready to come, show up, because the atmosphere will change things. Just show up and be in the atmosphere. A lot of us have so much going on. So and think about it, the pandemic. We didn't know where money was going to come from or anything like that. I said, I don't know where it's going to come from, but it's going to come. And I'm just going to show up. And we did not know what the pandemic started in March. I think we started in April.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know nothing about, and I'm gonna be honest, we didn't know nothing about a stimulus. We didn't know nothing about anything was coming. I just said, Lord, I'm gonna do this. And when I did it, every class, it was a different type of confidence. Mm-hmm. It was a different type of confidence and just connecting with the people. And one thing I love is the people that you connect with. When I just look at it as I was being redefined as a business owner, but the people that I was connecting with were the people that I needed to connect with for the finished product of who I was going to become, if that makes sense. So I was
that you say that, because but a little bit under half of our mastermind are all from that cohort. Like the girls, two out of the three that just joined, or 2 out of the 4 that just joined to close up the mastermind, they were from your cohort. That was the last 2 we were missing outside of a few. All of them have joined the mastermind. I think that's pretty fascinating, because I'm like, I never downplay any cohort, but just to motivate the students, to show them, because I'm going to get into like the journey of going from growth to then scale and how that looks different, is that a lot of people like to skip to, I want streams of income. I want you to teach me email marketing. I want you to teach me digital products. And I'm like, okay, well, what's funding this project? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's your money coming from? Unless you got a 9-to-5, which is cool, you know?
Right.
And so can you enlighten the listeners and viewers of what helped you then make the decision, and how long it took you to make the decision to say, okay, I'm cool with growth, my caseload is popping, I'm full, to then, oh wait, I need more. Like there's more to the new version.
Yeah, as you would grow and be around like-minded people, you start to get a different type of confidence, and in your program, you tap into our gifts and talents. So it's not just about your niche client, is about you. What's your niche for you, and more talents coming out. And so I'm like, okay, we got this down pat with the clinicians. You can do this in your sleep, but where do I want my business in 10 years, right? Because I'm going to be honest, my goal is not to be sitting behind this desk 10, 15 years later at all. And if I do, I'm going to be the clinical CEO director of my business, and people are going to be under me. So I won't be sitting. So I know, like, what do I need to do? But instead of me running so fast, I said, you know what do I even love to do? I used to be a teacher. I love to teach, right? And it's easy for me to teach you something that I have done that I love doing. I love teaching business owners. I love teaching people how to be an author. So I already had streams of income with my books. Okay, why don't you teach other people? Because a lot of people in my niche population, they wanted to write books, but they were very scared of what the world said. So it took me, I want to say, maybe about 4 months to even really wrap around in my head to say, you're more than just a clinician, honey. You got so much more in you, but you have to make sure that it's all aligned with your niche. And so I wouldn't suggest you go out here and just make a mug and do a t-shirt. No, is it all aligned with who you are as a person and your business? I don't want you to say, hey, I'm an inner child specialist or therapist, and then you're out here talking about footwear. Like, that doesn't make sense. So you got to make sure that everything aligns, but it takes time. It takes time to write that stuff down. It takes time to even talk to Dr. TK as your coach to say, hey, what do you think about this? How does this sound, right? And you got to be honest with yourself to say, hey, just because Sharita doing webinars and boot camps and seminars, honey, you only for a workshop. That's all the time you have, right? Workshop a quarter. So I would say stay in your lane with that.
Yes.
Yes, start small or wherever you can be, because you're still a full-time clinician, and it's okay to grow with that. And eventually everything will be evergreen. You won't even have to show up. So I'll just say, any advice to anybody, when you are growing and scaling your business, take your time. You're not in competition with anybody. But the first thing is you need to write down, what does this look like for me? What do I love to do? And where am I going? And however long that takes, take that time to do that.
Right. That's good. I'm glad that you talked about slowing down to speed up. I mean, I think that all of our mastermind students see it amongst, and I say us because I've been down this rabbit hole that I share with y'all often. Like, this took me 10 years. Don't be repeating this. What are you doing? But Where I find a lot of therapists fall down, especially in that growth to scale phase of at least having the desire to, is that we all have a lot of ideas. A lot of us, like we're all known as visionaries because in the mastermind, we take that test. And a lot of us are visionaries. And what a visionary is that you have a lot of running ideas, but if you don't learn how to slow down those ideas and actually see one all the way through, and then train your team on that one vision and project all the way through, you'll then wake up and you'll have a lot of unfinished projects. Or I see this in our DTA community. I'm not saying that you have to join the mastermind to be successful in your business, but I do see a lot of our DTA students, they are just picking up a mug and a bracelet and a workout gear, and every day they're offering a different level of expertise. And as a coach, I want to say so badly, like, you confusing me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm your coach, let alone a regular person. So what I'm saying is you can have multiple streams of income, but you have to fine tune in order how you want to prioritize one of them at a time. And that's how I want to get into the story of the whole $25 to a 1K program and for you to share those results. And I want you to tell them how it happened, because I want people to see also what happens at the masterminds, but how important it is to narrow down what you want to do. And don't be afraid when you ain't got 1,000 people signing up, because you get who you're supposed to have in your niche. So talk to them about May.
Okay, y'all. So Mastermind, I'm in the elite program with Dr. TK, which is the upper level program when you are literally growing and scaling your business more on a deeper level. And so a part of that perk is we get to travel business, all expenses through your business. We went to Las Vegas. And just, plug, I flew first class for the first time, different mindset, okay, for that. So yes, got there. And y'all, so Dr. TK been talking to me about, my program. She's referred people to my program, but each time I would get just enough confidence to bring the program up just a little bit, but not the worth. It'll be 25, then 50, then 150. It's like, girl, it's still a steal. Like, you might as well give it away for free. So in their mastermind, we have something called hot seats, where they literally put you in the front and you talk to them about a question that you have about something in your business. And one thing that everybody shared with me, most of the people joined the class, was like, girl, your program is too low. You offer too much. What is the problem? Like, what's stopping you? So everybody was just giving me different ideas. They were giving me feedback. And also giving me price, like, girl, you need to charge 1,000. I know some people that's charging 5,000, and just write down different ideas of how I can turn it into a program instead of a class. And although they were awesome in giving me all of this, it was something that still had to shift in me to say, you know what, I am worthy of changing this. I need to go back to the drawing board and not be upset with them. Be honest with yourself to say, why are you not charging? And why are you assuming that people won't pay for that? They pay for anything else they want to pay for. And it's not your business to clock their bank account. It's your business to rise up, don't shrink back, show up in your business, because you know what's inside of you. And so the whole plane ride, all the strategies they gave me, all the strategies the Holy Spirit gave me, I literally created the entire program on that 4-hour plane ride.
You couldn't stop writing.
I could not. I wanted to go to sleep, and I could not stop writing. And so I did it. And then when I came back, like, I shut it down. I was not on the phone. Everything was me and my business, and everything God was showing me, everything Dr. CK was helping me with. I would reach out to her. We talked about email marketing. Like, I was putting all the pieces together. And so I set a goal for myself of how many people I wanted, but I wasn't limited to those people. And I wasn't going to be upset if 14 people didn't sign up. Everything is in alignment. And so what I did was I had to declare a goal to help me stay motivated. You got to declare a goal so you can stay motivated. And then I had to say, what is it going to take? Sacrifice, time management, videos, whatever I got to do to make sure I'm serving the population. So I had to literally do things I've never done before. Kajabi, never done it before. Right? Email marketing, I haven't done it to that capacity before. So everything I just had to show. I had the tools.
You have the tools. Because one thing that you said that I do just want to insert really quickly is you talked about finally being able to put the pieces together. And when you talked initially a moment ago about slowing down somebody's pace or slowing down your pace, is like recognizing that one of the joys of DTA and the mastermind is that now you have unlimited access to vaults of information. And when you learn it, it may not make sense. Do not stop there and not show up to the next coaching call because the last one didn't make sense. When it's time for you to apply it to your business or your life, you will just go back and you'll be like, ding dong, light bulb. This is what she was talking about. And then you can actually move faster because you've invested in the system.
Exactly. And not only do I go back to the lead mastermind, I still go back to DTA cohorts and look at information, vision. Your vision is going to change, not all the way, but some things are going to change. Email marketing, whatever. You go back to those things and say, you know what? I already got the information. So that's just a little bit for those who like, hey, well, I'm not going to use email marketing. I'm still at my 9 to 5. You will use it. You will use it soon. And so when you hear Dr. TK say, this is what I'm offering, you are going to use it. If you are really growing and scaling your business, you're going to use all of it. I don't care if it's 2 years from now, you're going to use it. And so I had to literally go back to the drawing board, taking everything that all the students and Dr. TK and Dr. Roche gave me at the mastermind. But the other biggest thing, y'all, is I had to go forth in confidence. I mean, it wasn't easy the whole time. There were some tears, there was some frustration because guess what? It was uncomfortable. I've never done that before to the capacity. And so I had to show up differently, y'all. I had to show up, but I had to go at the pace that I was allotted to go to. I couldn't rush it because it wouldn't be open to the people that needed to be there. And also be very big on listening to your spirit, listening to your intuition, because there were 8 people signed up in September, but I kept hearing there's at least 2 more. And I wanted to shut it down, but I didn't. And it was literally 2 more people that needed it. And I wasn't afraid to reach out. I wasn't afraid to monitor my social media to say, hey, I'm noticing you're liking all of the information on Authors Bootcamp. Are you interested? I had to do a free workshop. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, that's one thing Dr. TK taught us. Like, you can offer some things for free, honey. It's not that serious. Nobody has to pay for everything. Like, you can offer things for free. Exactly, because I'm not trying to be funny. Like, why am I going to invest $1,000 in your program if I don't really know you or know what you're talking about? And from May to September, I got at least 300 more followers by then. So I'm still new. I'm new to them. So they don't really know who I am, what I'm offering. And so all of that process, guys, is what got me to the $1,000 program that I knew I should have been doing anyway. But I was just scared to do it. I didn't think people was going to offer it, but it's just, you just got to have an abundance mindset, and it's not money. It's abundance in your mind.
Yeah, but they do want to hear the money. So what were your numbers? Let's be real. They like, well, how much is it? So what was your results? And then I got another question.
Okay. So my results was I got 9 people. So that was $9,000. So think about that, y'all. I went from charging $25, having, all these people nowhere near. And then, I mean, people were paying in full. I had some people pay on a payment plan, but guess what? It was no questions asked, no, how can I say, no manipulation, because I'm just not that type of person. You either in, you want it, or you're not, or you'll wait later. So guys, 9 people. So that was $9,000, right? In what, maybe 8 days?
Yeah, because I really want them to see the timeline. You kind of just tipped on it a little bit. I want people to conceptualize the fact that you took a leap on faith on you, because some people say, oh, I took a leap of faith on the coach. No, I provided you just like you provided people. You provide them with a free workshop. They get the information, or a paid workshop. It's up to the person. And then you have to choose what your vision is, and is this person what they have to offer in alignment with where you want to go. And then clearly it was a match because you did DTA. Then there was some time in between. Then you were working on your books, and then you start teaching, and then that's when you start recognizing, like, yo, I'm lowballing myself, whatever the case may be. And so what I'm trying to help them see is that the day in her hot seat, y'all, was only 10 minutes. So 10 minutes equated to $9,000. I like that. Good. You know what I'm saying? People are like, oh, what about all the time in between? Well, the 10 minutes gave her the motivation to do all the stuff in between. And that's the joys, what she described as a mastermind, because a mastermind is very much peer-based. They are typically ran by or facilitated by someone who has done a lot of the
Exactly.
things to give the curriculum and the strategy. But my main goal is to put the right people in the right room. And when I say that our
Exactly.
groups mesh well all the
Woo.
time, I haven't had not one toxic person in none of my programs.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying?
You
Like
know,
at all. Actually, I'm very lucky. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
but I wanted to bring that home. And so, what would you share with someone who specifically has a private practice, DTA or no DTA? They're making consistent numbers, but they're not making consistent moves with hiring team members, making money on a scalable level consistently like you are now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what suggestion would you give them about investing on the next level?
Whew. The one thing I would say is first you have to really, really dig deep and realize like, what am I doing and where am I going? Do I want to stay here or do I want to move forward? And so once you realize that, like, I'm really lowballing myself, like, this is just not it. I want you to not be afraid to move further. And I'm not trying to be funny. Just because you posting and moving on social media, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean anything. You get likes and comments, but what is your bank account looking like? What is your mindset looking like? Are you having anxiety when you get up and do your notes? Like, what is really going on inside of you? And you need to do an assessment of your vision, assessment of your mindset. And I would say, and after that, you need to take the leap of faith to say, hey, who do I need to be connected to? Don't just start investing in programs just because people offered it $99. Okay, that's good. I'm not saying a $99 program is
I've
not
got some
great.
good $10 ones, okay?
Exactly. I've had some great $27 ones. However, the investment that you put into yourself is what you're going to get out. Okay. That's all I want to say. So you have
Also
to
attract back. I want
exactly.
to add laws of attraction, attract back, because a lot of the people in the mastermind, as soon as they said yes to even joining, they got their return. We had that happen so many times this year and for the students for next year, and we ain't even started yet. And I was like,
Exactly.
wow.
Exactly. And that happened to me when I joined. I paid off DTA early because I started with the payment plan and I paid off DTA early because I started showing up different in my business and making more money. So I was able to pay it off early. So I would say to anybody, any business owner, you really got to look at where you want to go and start investing your money. And then I also want you to be honest with yourself to say, hey, go, and I'm going to be honest, go in your bank account and look at how much you're spending on other things that you're investing in. And then, because a lot of people say, well, where am I going to get the money from? Go look in your bank account, do an evaluation, because I had to do it. I had to highlight and say, girl, you got the money right here. You're just putting it somewhere else. That's why I had to be real with myself and say, you got the money.
10 times.
Exactly. Starbucks, $15 a day. That's your money right there. And so, and not just looking at the, like you said, the tangible, the money piece. It's like, I had to tell myself, I deserve this. I deserve to invest in me. I deserve to show up differently in my family. I deserve the abundance that's coming to me in my business. This is what you've been praying for. But then you get mad when it comes to you. Oh, I need another
Or
sign.
to somebody else.
Or
That, look, this is the example I give. Like, if we started DTA together, but you showed up, even if stuff ain't working out for you, even if life is happening, right? You show up, you either let me and or the community pour into you or just be around people. Let's be real. We're in our house, in our room, therapist cave by ourselves. That brings depression. You know what I'm saying? And so we are human. When you get connected to the right people, you also shortcut the marathon, not the sprint.
Ooh, that's good.
Because
You do.
let's be honest. What you just did was miraculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was May 2020. The cohort was May 2020. I think we did the boot camp in April, May. But the fact that you are less than 2 years and you've done, let's just recap for the listeners what you've done. You built a profitable private practice, left your job 2 to 3 months early. Okay, finish. What else have you done?
Left 2 to 3 months early. In 30 days, I had 21 clients. I hired 3 people under me already to help with the administrative part of my business. I've been on, I went to the mastermind. I invested in the elite. I have a CPA helping me. I have been on over 10 speaking events and podcasts. So much. It's so much. I've listed it before, but now, you drawing a blank.
Like, this is a homework assignment, by the way, for the mastermind. I know I put you on the spot, but I mean, that's enough for people to see from May until now. certain things are possible regardless of what's happening around you. And yes, I do say regardless, because we can wake up every day and make up a reason as to why we're not going after it. And a lot of people say money and time. Well, guess what? Those are both under the definition of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want your results, then don't get mad at a person like me when I join a program with you and I surpass you. And then you say, well, girl, how'd you do that? Let me see what they teaching you. You went to the same webinar I did. So she got one Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Listen, that is definitely true. Like, there's no competition. However, I'm not going to shrink back because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And so we got to be mindful of just being jealous or envious of someone. It's not about jealousy. It's about, hey, girl, how can you help me? What worked for you? And so we working together. However, I'm not going to give you everything if you ain't putting in the work either. We're working together. We're not going to look at such and such. A couple things I did. I will say I have a lot of insurance companies, but I looked at my stuff after I did a reassessment. I have half cash pay, half insurance. And so that is great. I was able to charge my worth. I also offer business coaching, not life coaching. I am very passionate about helping business owners niching down. So I do not take life coaching and all. It's business owner coaching. So yeah, it's been a lot. I'm on EAPs. I'm on every insurance company here. Done a lot of podcasts here. Can't think of everything else, but it's been a lot. It's been phenomenal.
Like, everybody's excited for the caseload in 30 days.
in 30 days, and I've graduated clients. I don't hold on to them. I graduate them. The boot camp was enough. I mean, I've had 2 cohorts with the boot camp. So I forgot to say that my beta, thanks to Dr. TK was teaching, my beta cohort paid $700, and I had 6 people. So that's another thing.
What a beta is, and we're not going to tell you. You just got to wait until I host something for 2022.
Yep. So and then I became a DTA coach. So that was a win for me too. Like, just being honored for Dr. TK to see the value in me and how I showed up. She's like, okay, well, I'm bringing you on to be a DTA coach. That was huge for me because I'm like, okay, divine connection. And that one last thing, exactly. The other thing is the Taraji P. Henson Foundation, the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation. That was a win for me too. Like, I think I was in my private practice maybe a month or 2 before getting on that foundation. And also one of my books is on there as a resource. So that is really huge. Like, that's something I couldn't even think of. Like, I'm like, what? Who? Me? Like, so that was huge too. And like I said, two months. 2 months after.
Then you get approved for a group.
Yes. Keep reminding me. I got approved for a group, y'all. So grants were coming, like the foundation, and I got approved to see individuals for individual counseling. I think I had at least 3 to 4 clients through that foundation. So that's connections with organizations and free money that comes to your business, but you're able to help a population that wasn't able to help themselves financially. And so I could have never thought about that. It's so much more, but we just gonna give you that little bit.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think as we wrap up, certain things that you said, I do want to recap for the viewers and the listeners, because I want them to walk away, of course, with so many nuggets that I am so grateful that you have poured into them and also poured back into me, just to reinforce to keep doing what we love. But more importantly, look at the title of the podcast, Grinding for Abundance, Therapists Deserve Abundance. And that's really what you spoke to today in terms of looking not just as an investment in yourself as money or a money exchange or credit card input,
right, but
also what you're really getting back. And everything you listed, even though it may have been unexpected and came quickly, I believe spiritually as well that it came quickly because you finally were able to move yourself out of the way. You were able to remove your fear out of the way and jump scared. And some therapists are scared to jump scared. And I will say this, I am not for you have to leave your job, because that's a myth that has been going around, which is why people don't join our programs. Like, she say 2 out of 4 therapists. And I'm like, yeah, because a lot of them that say they're not going to quit, I don't ask them to quit. They just see what's possible and they like, I'm quitting,
Exactly. Yeah.
But I really hope that you can see how you can start from wanting to have a business to then moving into private practice to then starting to be connected and have, I'm going to talk about in another podcast episode, having relationship capital and having access to a variety of things, being in the right place at the right time to even hear things. Because we didn't even get into an event that you missed, but because you connected with another DTA accountability partner, she came home and gave you everything that you would have got at that event, and you took that information and dove in. Most people would have took that workbook and said, all these are blanks. I got to fill in the blanks. I'm cool. I don't want to meet girl. And you were like, nah, run me them blanks, Shayla.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And yeah, connecting with Shayla was a true blessing. Like, she really helped me even with like the systems that she used, because she was all online too. I didn't know anybody who was a successful online business owner. She's successful online private pay. Let's leave that there. Business owner, clear private pay. And she helped me so much. And we are tight to this day. And it's a sisterhood for us. It's not just, oh, I'm just calling you, just to get something from you. No, it's a sisterhood for us, because we help and motivate each other. And so I love how Dr. TK shows up, because it's like her energy and her motivation, like, you have no choice but to be motivated and to do what you need to do. Or you must be asleep if you're in this program and you're not doing that. So I just thank you, Dr. TK, for you answering your call and you being obedient to even show us how to show up for us.
That is awesome. Now listen, I'm gonna see you soon, regardless. But I am super grateful that you have taking your time out of your awesome schedule, abundant schedule, to be able to pour into the viewers of the video and also the podcast listeners. And I am sure that there are multiple therapists that can relate to multiple points of your story, whether that was the beginning, figuring it out, operating in fear, or profitability and ready to scale, but they don't know what their next move is. And I'm just telling them, if they're watching or listening, or share it with another therapist, to stay connected. Because yes, at the time of this recording, it's wrapping up at the end of 2021. We do have something coming up, or some things that might be dropped, around Black Friday and the holiday season. But if you really want to get a hold of growing your private practice for it to be profitable, or revamping the one that you already have, or learning how to scale, you definitely have to stay connected. And one way to do that I know a lot of my clients, or just the community, is loving, is my daily affirmations. So I just want to share those with you, that if you are a therapist, business owner, or want to be one, text us and we'll make sure to put it in the show notes at 310-388-8603, and just text the word abundance. And we send I'll send them out about 7:00 PST, Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. You'll get some affirmations, and some of them will kick you in the butt, and you'll probably be mad at me, but it's cool. I still love you. Like through text.
Right. We need it.
All right. So I want to thank you. We'll make sure that when people want to connect with you, we'll make sure to give everybody all of Laurie's social media handles, her website, so that you can check her out, because I'm sure she's going to be having some things that drop in the fourth quarter, even just to learn about her services more. So we'll make sure that you learn about how to become a better author. All right.
All right.
All right, so everybody, I will see you in the next episode. Bye.
See ya.